It's time once again for another episode of Georgia Business Radio. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta. And now here's your host, Rich-Casanova.
All right, we are all set to fire this up in another exciting program of the Georgia Business Radio Show. Your host, Rich-Casanova, and just once again, joining us, we have subject matter experts in our Buckhead studio, and our co-host here this afternoon, Craig Williams. Welcome.
How's it going, man?
Unbelievable, man. How you doing?
Brought the sunshine with me.
I'm telling you, man. You just walked in the door, everything lit up.
Don't know what season it is these days.
It's
good that we have evergreen radio.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's evergreen.
I mean, well, and no matter what the season, it's always beautiful in Buckhead.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right, so haven't gotten to the weather report. Did we do the time yet?
Yes, we did.
It's that time for the show.
It's that time for the show.
All right, so besides all the radio chaos, let's get into our show, and we're going to just welcome each guest just briefly to the show, and let you, if you'd share with your audience what you might be chatting about and how to get in touch with you, and then we'll begin our first interview. So, Scott, let's just kind of welcome you to the show first. So, Scott Morchower?
Morchower,
yeah.
Depending on what part of the country you're
or
in.
what weather we're in, yeah.
Exactly.
So actually, we met at a networking event here in Atlanta, and based on a conversation, thought we need to have you come in and tell the rest of your story. So tell us a little teaser. What keeps you busy these days?
Most of what I do is commercial real estate. Okay. I work with buyers or sellers or tenants or landlords, just kind of helping people negotiate with things on their properties.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing more about that.
Andy Freed, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
I'm Andy Freed. I'm a business consultant with the Kennesaw State University Small Business Development Center. It's part of the Georgia SBDC network. We have 17 offices in Georgia. And we have a fantastic program coming up on March 23rd called Cracking the Code. And I'd like to share more about that as time permits.
Absolutely.
Beautiful and growing campus up there as well.
We have 33,000 students now. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, where do you guys rank in the university system within Georgia?
At this moment, 2, but I think Georgia State University is making a play to move back into 2. So.
Yeah, they own downtown.
They're changed a little bit, yeah. All right, and also joining us in the studio, Pat Mahoney. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And so what will you be chatting about this afternoon?
I'll be chatting about 3 things, the importance of hiring journalists for content development, and also I'd like to talk about the need for several things, the need for renewables such as solar and other efficiencies in development here in Atlanta, as well as what's going on in the startup community. I've been following it for some time. It's very exciting.
Okay. I didn't see startup in the notes, so that's always exciting. Look forward to that. And what caught my eyes, dear to our heart, is you also held positions in radio news.
I did. I was a news broadcaster in Chattanooga and in Georgia as well.
Okay, well, you're hired for free. Here we go. All right, so let's get underway here, and let's welcome back to the show and our first guest joining us in the studio, Andy Freed.
Yes.
All right, so Andy, tell us about, let's just introduce you first of all. So 30 years experience in the financial, retail, and estate sectors. You began your career as a CPA with Laventhol and Horwath, okay, in New York. 1984, you became owner and president of a retail business with locations throughout New York, tri-state area. The tri-states are what?
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Good answer. That's the correct answer. All right, and but you sold your retail interest, moved to Atlanta, became an owner, manager, and agent of commercial real estate properties, and you've been a consultant more recently at the KSU SBDC Center for 9 years.
That's correct.
Wow. So what originally brought you to Atlanta? The weather or family, friends, business? Or?
Basically, my wife said she's moving to Atlanta. I mean, am I going to come along?
Right. Yeah. That's a good one.
And I'm a smart man, so I followed her. So.
Nice. All right. And so how did you get involved? Because obviously we see your background in commercial real estate and in retail. What door opened for at KSU for you?
There was an opportunity to be a consultant and educator at the KSU SBDC. Just something that's tickled me for a long time. Just one of these things I wanted to do. And it turned out to be a very good fit for me. So I started there roughly 9 years ago, and it's just been an amazing opportunity. So,
Okay.
Yep.
And obviously, we want to delve into this, the Cracking the Code. I saw the information online. It looks like an amazing event. Before we kind of jump into that, what's the day in the life look like for you? What plates do you spin over there at KSU?
So what we typically do on a day-to-day basis is we consult with small business owners. So about 80% of our clients are people in business, about 20% people going into business. And we consult one-to-one. It's all taxpayer funded, so there's no charge for our clients. And then we teach a whole bunch of classes during the day, during the night, to the business community. So
Nice. So, Craig, so far this early in the show, I'm counting 6 minutes into the show, we have a free new radio host and we have a free business consulting services.
All right. If they agree, I suppose that's correct.
All right. So now let's delve into the Cracking the Code and this event coming up March 23rd at KSU, obviously.
So the evolution of the Cracking the Code program started 2 years ago. On the fourth Wednesday of each month, starting 2 years ago, I do a program called Wise and Shine from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9:30. It's an opportunity to highlight a successful entrepreneur and wrap it around a topic of interest. And again, it's a free program, 8 o'clock in the morning to 9:30. It just quickly got traction. It's an opportunity where the spotlight person just shares some success stories, some ugliness, some very raw, important information, very vulnerable type stuff, and they share it with the group, and the group shares their stuff, and a lot of powerful networking going on and learning, just great stuff. And so, spinning forward 2 years, there was this need for a full-day educational program to spotlight a lot of successful people, a lot of successful presenters, and this is going to be a program on March 23rd where people can get a lot of educational content, whether you're in business or going to business, from truly successful code crackers. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some great sponsors who stepped up to this. They're very excited about it. In fact, Renaissance Bank, the lead sponsor, wants to do this in 10 SBDC offices around Georgia.
Wow.
So, this will be breakfast served, lunch served, good learning, inspirational stuff going on. And, we think that for those who attend the program, if they can just learn one or two of these little not-so-secret recipes, that it will translate to breakthrough performance.
Gotcha.
So it works, and we know it works.
So it originally started as like a morning program a couple of years ago, and now it's turned into an all-day.
Well, the morning program continues. We do that every single month, the fourth Wednesday.
Okay, so the fourth Wednesday of every month.
But this is a one-day opportunity to really just get them all together for good learning, good inspiration.
So this is past guests that have come through all the cracking codes in the mornings?
Some of the presenters will be past guest code crackers, correct?
Gotcha.
There will be some new code crackers, and then we'll have some outside presenters just teaching some other code cracking tactics.
And it sounds like what you're cracking is the lessons from failures.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct. So one of the lessons that, and yes, you're right, Craig, that one of the secrets to success is learning from your mistakes.
Most definitely.
Exactly. And so that's one of the threads that absolutely ran through all of the Wise and Shine programs. And yes, they will be sharing some of that good ugliness with us, and we'll be learning from that.
So speaking in breakfast terms, cracking that egg, and in the yolk you have that failure, but what you can make from that, an omelet or scrambled or over easy, is what this success, a byproduct, basically.
So if you allow me, I'd like to share one of the success stories that one of the presenters, one of the co-crackers, his name's Juan Reyes, a first-generation immigrant from the Dominican Republic. came to this country when he was roughly 20 years old, and with very limited money, goes to Lansing, Michigan. What does he know about the restaurant business? But he opens up a restaurant, makes a mess there, bails out of Lansing, drives to Chattanooga, makes a little bit of a mess there.
So Pat knows that guy, right?
Okay, and then his friend says, well, why don't you just go to Atlanta? There's opportunities there. He gets in his Honda Civic, goes to Atlanta in 2008, and he says he's going to go into the roofing business in 2008, right?
I know this guy, I think.
Okay, and all he owns is a Honda Civic, a ladder, and a hammer. And in the depths of the Great Recession, he is going to go into the roofing business. And Juan is a resourceful fella, driven. He made his share of mistakes. He learned from those mistakes. And in 2008, in the depths of the Great Recession, with no knowledge about the roofing business, had a very good year. And Juan today, 7 years later, is one of the preeminent roofing companies in Atlanta.
Wow.
And so what are his not-so-secret recipes for success? And he will be sharing those not-so-secret recipes.
Outstanding. So through transparency, we share our story.
That's it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Gotcha. Outstanding.
All right, so talk to us about the event itself as far as who might be attending.
Well,
cost.
And is this the first ever of its kind?
So this is our inaugural.
Right,
this
yeah.
is our inaugural Cracking the Code session. It's from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4:30. Okay. It's going to be one of these very fast-paced days. I mean, 30-minute. We're going to have a whole bunch of TED Talk type presentations from successful code crackers. There will be panel discussions. With code crackers, there will be professional resource partners of ours, lawyers, bankers, CPAs, who will share code cracking strategies and tactics, and lunch and breakfast. So it's from 9 o'clock till 4:30. The cost is $100. There's an early bird special $20 discount. And hold on. There's
more, yeah.
Wait for it. There is, for all the listeners of your radio show, a promo discount, WS25, which gives you a 25% discount. So if those folks sign up before the early bird discount expiration of February 20th, they'll get the $20 off, plus they'll get an additional 25% off using the WS25 promo code. They can register online.
So they can double down and get all that.
Double down.
Well, that's
I'm in. And then on top of that,
let's do it.
Times two.
Yeah, times two.
And we really encourage companies to bring their key employees along. And so there's multiple discounts.
So where online are they going to find this information? Because I'm at the website right now.
If they just Google KSU SBDC, it will pop up someplace. Right there on the homepage. If you just crack
the code, the top yellow square.
Code, there you go. Just Google KSU SBDC, and there on the homepage is cracking the code. Yup.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so that's the full day program at the university, and pretty much open to the whole spectrum, right? Those folks that are launching, getting underway, want to kind of retool what they have going on. So appreciate you being here. We're going to hang tight. We may circle back around for some follow-up questions as well. So not only a great event, some great deals being offered as well. So Andy, thanks again for being on the program. Let's turn our attention now back to Pat Mahoney. And Pat, so you're, as we mentioned, owner of Mahoney Communications, career marketer and journalist specializing in marketing strategy, development for technology, telecom, renewable energy, nonprofit organizations. Wow, we may need, I think this is show volume 2. A former newspaper bureau chief, byline thousands of articles, photographs, and received 2 awards for the Associated Press for reporting. Congratulations on that. And additionally, you've, as we mentioned, held positions radio, news, fundraising, public relations, graphic design, I'm out of breath. Let's a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Georgia.
I like that volunteer
Dogs.
management piece you were talking
Yeah.
about. So you did speak to her,
Yeah.
her heart there, the volunteer.
I'm telling you.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right, nice. So, so Pat, tell us a little bit about what you tease us with the importance of hiring journalists for content development, which is they say cash is king now. Content
Is king.
Well, actually,
Certainly.
it was 1996, and it was Bill Gates who said content is king.
Really?
And
Wow.
what he was meaning in that statement was that there was real money to be made on the internet if you were a content provider. And that's true today more so than ever before. Everyone needs content, if it's a blog or a press release or website or any of those things. We all need content to populate those areas. The reason that I mentioned that it's important to hire a journalist to provide your content for your company is that journalists can give the companies the voice and the edge they need to be considered a market authority. And journalists excel at finding information to substantiate a claim. When a company makes a claim about a product or service, you need to be able to back it up in the marketplace because you don't want them to say something out of turn that could prove to be false. The journalists do a lot of fact-checking from independent sources to also verify that claim. There's research involved. There's a lot of research involved in content development and white papers and that sort of thing. Journalists excel with research. We excel with a fast turn in content development. When I was a newspaper reporter, I would turn 3 stories a day.
Wow.
So I was writing like a demon. So journalists know how to tell a story. Beyond everything else, we are storytellers. We know how to tell the story to the audience that it needs to reach. Journalists know how to engage other journalists in telling the story for the company as well. Some might believe that it's okay to just write a press release to the media and, we're going to be published online and that should do the trick. But unfortunately, there are a lot of voices that are vying for the media's attention. So it's up to a writer to find a way to draw interest to that company. This may involve talking to the media directly, peer-to-peer. It may involve finding a hook for that story that's giving information that's going to be of interest to that journalist, that's going to be specific to that journalist. So there are different ways that you can get your company's story told, your company's story heard by hiring a journalist. And that's kind of the area that I was talking about.
Gotcha. So it's a credible third-party endorsement,
Correct.
so to speak, yeah. And very important when you're building authority because it's your marketing firm or your marketing company or your publicist's job to make you look good, and mom's always going to make you look good. But getting that third-party endorsement is really where the credibility comes in, where people really can get into the knowing and the liking and the trusting you. And like you said, there's so much noise vying for everybody's attention and their dollars, and you definitely need that third party to speak on your behalf for you as opposed to you speaking for yourself. So I value that.
I got a question. You mentioned about startup community, and obviously, like any business or entity, they need to get the word out and get coverage in the press. What's a challenge or a tip or advice you'd give to them? Because they're in a position where they've got maybe the newest, hottest widget coming online, but they're on typically a bootstrap budget. So how could they go about getting press coverage from a journalist?
Well,
Right.
It's the same thing that I advise other companies. The same strategies. You define your product clearly. You define your market. You define your target. You determine who's positioned against you in the marketplace in terms of competitors. And you determine the driving needs of the purchaser. What are their needs? What are their problems that your product will address? It's just differentiation in the marketplace because there's so many voices out there.
Oh, big time. And since you've been in the business, the onslaught of social media, interesting your perspective on, there's at least two sides of that coin, right? Is that it's potentially free, but, again, there's more of it than there has been. But at the same time, from a PR or a journalist perspective, there's not a money opportunity there, right?
Well, social media is more about visibility.
Okay.
It's more about engaging your prospects and your customers online, getting that dialogue going, and showing that you're an authority in the marketplace. You can put your content on social media. It can be shared through social media, and that's a way to increase your visibility in the marketplace.
It's the 21st century flyer or door knock, so to speak,
Indeed
but
it
it's
is.
right in your hand.
So talk to us about solar, renewables, energy, and the like.
All right.
It's a big topic in a couple of minutes.
Sure. Today we live in the beginning of a new frontier with the introduction of the Internet of Things. You can change your thermostat with your phone. You can stream content on your phone from Netflix. You can determine your health level by wearing a Fitbit. And you can remotely connect to other environments like we have with the University of Georgia system, PeachNet, which is the educational platform for schools in Georgia. So all of this information generates a lot of content called big data. It's a lot of data. The data has to be managed and stored and analyzed. And currently there's really only one platform that will allow you to do that, and that's fiber optic networks. Mm-hmm. And that's my interest area, both in emerging technology as well as the telecom arena. What I find is that there is so much potential on this platform to be able to use it in software-defined networks, to be able to expand your capabilities, and to be able to connect all those things, and to be able to collect all that data, and to be able to analyze all that data on one platform. And part of that also is renewables. That's LED lighting, that's solar. All of these things, too, can be connected through networks and software-defined imaging, that sort of thing. The beauty of it is that if you combine LED lighting and you combine solar, both of these are DC-based products. I'm sorry. Yes, DC-based products, which is direct current products. You can power these products with solar energy. You don't have to use electricity from the power grid to be able to power all these products. So my thought is that why not have a balance with these new developments and cities and so forth to be able to combine both solutions on one platform, to be able to have that high-speed internet, but also to be able to help the environment by including LED lighting, which uses less energy, by including solar, which is powered by the sun, which we have plenty of here in Georgia most of the time.
Most of the time, certainly. Well, you're a wealth of knowledge, and we'd like to know how we can get in touch with you, your contact information that you'd like to share with our listeners.
Sure. They can just go to my website. It's patmahoney.com.
And you're on Twitter and Facebook
I'm
and
on
LinkedIn.
all of those things, yes.
I guess that's one of the, being a journalist, you just got to be, right?
That's right.
Stay connected.
Stay connected.
I hear you.
Absolutely, Pat. Our pleasure to have you here in the studio. Thanks for joining us. And our third guest here joining us back in the studio, Scott Morchower.
Yes.
Morchower.
Yes. All right.
Last but not least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's clean.
So a professional career of hands-on results, many years of relationship building, helps build a professional portfolio in a cross-section of business arenas, including entrepreneur, commercial real estate, nonprofit management, education, technology, natural medicine, women's apparel, importing, manufacturing. Wow, I thought you were just a commercial real estate guy.
It's all an evolution.
He's a people
in
person.
life.
He's holistic.
Some of it's not by choice when you change careers, and some of it is.
Right.
You make do.
So wearing all those hats, juggling multiple balls in the air without the drama. I love that part of your bio. So let's jump into it. And your philosophy is you can get what you want without helping others get what they want. Is that what?
By helping others get what they want, not without. That would not be good.
It says without helping others get what they want. We need a journalist to rewrite this bio here.
Apparently, I need to look back into that and retype it.
I'm very good at writing bios, by the way.
that.
Just contact me.
That could be a strategy.
Cross-pollination here. That's what happens at Pro Business Channel, folks.
Nice. All right, so Scott, talk to us about commercial real estate market in Atlanta. What's on the headlines or the short list?
Well, the commercial real estate market in Atlanta is recovered, I would say, beyond, or at least at the pre-recession levels when the commercial real estate market tanked. The commercial real estate market is on fire right now.
Yeah.
It's doing very, very well.
And how long have you been in the business now?
I've been full-time in commercial real estate as a agent with a broker for about 3 years. I own some of my own property, so I've been managing commercial real estate for about 9 years.
Okay. Wow. And so talk to us some challenges, in leasing. You mentioned owning property, right? I think there's the yin and yang there, right? Because it sounds very sexy on paper and exciting. Oh, I'm a big real estate
Monopoly.
investor. Yeah.
That's what most of us, we've all owned property on the Monopoly board.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. If it were only that easy, yeah.
I've got 4 houses on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations.
No, I'm saying I'm thinking about the Monopoly game. I got
the
4
Monopoly
houses
board.
in a
Oh,
hotel.
yeah. He's trying to get to a hotel.
Yeah.
So in real world, what are some? What's the yin and yang of that look like? Upside, downside.
Well, from a landlord side, you always have the issues about, do you have a good tenant?
Yeah.
Is the tenant that you're meeting with and hoping to bring into your building one that's going to stay a while and not destroy the place on their way out or during? So, they're custodians of your property, and you're hoping that when you're hoping they stay forever, but they never do. I mean, it's real life, and businesses come and go. So you hope that they'll take good care of the place. From the tenant side of things, you're hoping that you're going into a location where your landlord's going to be easy to work with, somebody who you can work with, and somebody who isn't going to not be there when you have a problem. Right. So, and isn't going to jack your rate when you finally established your location, you've finally gotten where you want, you've built your clientele, and then now they've doubled your rent because they know you have to stay there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Similar to residential. Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. But like if you had a retail location, for example, and you
That's a
built
big
that
difference.
location, or an insurance agency, and you've built, people coming into that location,
definitely.
then you're location dependent, and that's when they got you.
So talk to folks that might be looking at listing a property with a broker versus
Doing it themselves.
Well, if you're on the sales side and you're listing the property, first of all, best thing you can do is divorce yourself from the conversation and let somebody else be a mediator. Things tend to get emotional when you get involved in your own property, no different than, I would say, on your own personal property. But there's a lot of education that's involved in commercial real estate. That's education and typically we don't work with the buyer if we're representing the owner of the property. We're working with another agent who's educating his client. So there's it's all about the education. It's all about talking about details of things that perhaps maybe most people wouldn't think about and keeping it as a business conversation.
Yeah.
I like to say a lot of times I deal with logic, not emotion, and that's why I'm in commercial real estate. Whereas in residential real estate, you're dealing with a lot more emotion.
big time,
The color
yeah.
of the drapes, the color of the walls.
Yeah.
I picked that carpet out myself. How can your client not like it?
Right, exactly, yeah.
So I don't deal with that as much. You do a little bit more on the leasing side, but not so much on the purchasing side. So depending on who you're representing.
Yeah, where do you spend most of your time, in industrial or office, properties, or retail?
I would say lately, the past year, it's just been all over the place because it's an insane market right now. But I would say probably more office and or buildings, office buildings, and land have been my two really hot areas lately.
And what's either the biggest misperception of folks contacting you, or what's the challenge, I guess, in your business?
I would say probably one of the biggest misconceptions, for example, Craig, let's say you have a small business or whatever size business, and let's say you need 3,000 square feet of space for your location. Retail, office, it doesn't matter. And you say, well, you know what, I'm just going to drive around and I'm going to find some signs and I'm going to make some phone calls and I'm going to find my location. I'm going to go on Craigslist.
He rolled his eyes, by the way, when we said that on the radio. Yeah,
and I think that one of the misperceptions is that what we do is we help you find a location. I would say that's probably one of the things we do, but probably one of the least important things of what we do. I would say more than anything, you don't think about, first of all, if you're a tenant looking for a place, you don't think about the fact you've got a professional who does this for a living that you don't have to pay. And because as a tenant rep, the landlord's paying me to bring him a client.
Right.
So why would you want to drive around and do it yourself anyway?
And
right?
pay for that.
And
Literally.
pay for that.
Yeah,
So
It's like changing your oil these days. Who would
Right.
do that on their own, right?
Right, exactly. So the landlord pays me to bring him a tenant, but then I'm negotiating for the tenant. I'm representing the tenant.
Yeah.
My fiduciary responsibility is 100% to the tenant.
Yeah.
So maybe the landlord sneaks in a little thing about you have to repair the air conditioners if they break, which is fairly common on industrial
Right.
properties and some office and all retail.
Or if the copper is stolen out of them.
And you become responsible. So the tenant representative knows that these things are in the lease. They're going to make sure that your risk is reduced long term. The worst thing could happen, let's say you're on a 10-year lease, and you're 9 years into the lease. You got 1 year left on your lease, and the rooftop $10,000 rooftop air conditioning system breaks.
Right.
And you're responsible to replace that if it breaks, which is
Ruh-roh.
normal, which is pretty standard in industrial and retail. So what do? If you don't have that negotiated in your lease, you just bought a brand new $10,000 air conditioner system right before you moved out of somebody else's building.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't get the key,
So
you might be able to write it off as an expense, right?
I guess you could.
Yeah.
I'd
But
back
so
my-
those kind of misperceptions, I would say, are
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd back my truck up and take it with me, but
good luck with that. You might back right up into the police officer just sitting there waiting to put you in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Nice. So would you mind staying afterwards, maybe renegotiating our lease here at the
Sure,
studio? Yeah.
absolutely.
But that's a great point, because you just think in terms of realtor, whether commercial or real estate or residential. Thank you. But of just helping you find a property. But just the one word lease can get you in all kinds of trouble on both sides, right? And
Correct.
so if you've been doing it 6, 8, 9 years, whatever, you've looked at a lot more than the one person
Correct.
looking at it just for their first time.
Plus, let's say you're in the automotive business.
Right.
Okay. What's making your money? It's fixing the cars or selling the cars or whatever you're doing. Do you really have time to take away from your profit center
Right.
to do with something that you know nothing about in the first place, that you just think you know something about?
Well, it's my buddy always says, Craig Williams sitting right here says, do what you're world class at.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It helps.
Exactly.
It does help.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are unfortunately right at the end of the show. So, Scott, share with our audience, if you would, the best way for folks to reach out to you.
You can call me directly on my
Nice,
cell
I
phone,
love that.
and I'm going to broadcast this online, and I might regret it.
Sweet.
But
We
it's,
hope so.
It's Scott Morchower. My cell number is 770-310-9575, or you can email me at smorchower@comcast.net.
Outstanding.
All right, great show. We'll see everybody next time.
Thank you again for joining Rich Casanova and our guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media links here to share today's show, and stay tuned for the next episode of Georgia Business Radio.